Welcome back to the Inner Circle Show. In today's Palantir episode, we need to talk about two very important partnerships, one of them in Europe. And also we now have insight into how Palantir uses Palantir. And we've got more. But before we get into all of that, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel and turn your notifications on so you do not miss an upload Monday through Friday. Yesterday, we heard that Mizuho downgraded Palantir, but today we have the information that Morgan Stanley have actually upgraded Palantir from a $12 price target to a $20 price target. So although this is an increase in their price target, and it's good to see them thinking that Palantir is actually worth more than $12 a share, which to me is a little bit insane if you've got a $12 price target for this company, but still $20 per share is like a 29% decrease from where we're at now. So, still quite negative if you think about it. I also saw this post on X from John, who I recommend you follow. And he is reporting on a piece of information that has come out, which I believe came from a video last week, a defense conference video, that says GE Aerosmith VP David Tweedy confirmed they are leveraging Palantir technology to improve engine maintenance for United States Air Force jets. In the video, the VP said, "Proud to announce we're doing a pilot program with Palantir to use AI to do better fleet management, predictive maintenance to really help with the logistics and predictability of our operational fleet." He then went on, if you watch the whole video, to basically talk about how the medical space use AI and how that can be applied to other industries. And he said innovative people in the medical space are using AI coupled with radiologists to improve the accuracy of cancer screenings. We're doing the same thing for assessing the health of jet engines. History has shown when in conflict with technology and capability overmatch, it can be decisive. So I don't actually know if this is a new partnership between GE Aerospace and Palantir. I believe they have actually worked together in the past in some sort of capacity, but maybe this is an expansion on previous work that they've done, throughout the entire GE Aerospace organization. I'm not really sure, but this is still really, really bullish, and it shows us yet again how Palantir's technology, how Palantir's solutions can be used across a variety of different industries. And to me, what he's speaking about there in terms of predictive maintenance, that really makes me think of Skywise. Of course, Skywise is a platform built on Foundry, and it's in collaboration with Airbus. So Palantir and Airbus have basically produced this platform together, Skywise, that is useful, the use case is within the aviation industry. And actually, I do think Skywise have worked with GE Aerospace before, actually. So I don't really know if this is talking about Skywise, talking about AIP, Foundry. I'm not really sure on the exact details of this work, but what this says to me as well is that Palantir are now a company that other companies are really proud to actually say that they're working with. They're really, really starting to make a name for themselves. And then we have Chad Walquist, who is a forward deployed architect at Palantir. And I'm sure if you're within the community, you're over on X, you have come across him before. You should definitely give him a follow. And he recently had a conversation with a guy named Jim Siders, who is a CIO at Palantir. And they sat down to talk about how Palantir actually utilizes their own technology, their own software to run their business. I'm going to link the whole video in the description below if you do want to watch it in its entirety. I do recommend it. It's very interesting and it gives great insight. It's a good insight to be getting because obviously, Palantir are priding themselves on having the best solutions, data solutions and AI solutions in the market. So it's very fascinating to actually hear how they use their software for their business. The conversation starts with how Jim began at Palantir back in 2013. And this was when he was a temp contractor before he got his job now, which is, like I said, a CIA, where he's in charge of actually developing and implementing the whole organization's IT strategy. They speak about a load of good stuff in this interview, but one thing is a very impressive case study whereby one of their financing tooling engineers came up with a way to basically reduce the cycle time on expense allocations from about 12 hours to about 5 to 7 minutes, which is obviously a massive improvement. And those are the sort of things that they are doing within their own business, which they then can look to actually deploy to their customers. And next we have a very, very exciting, bullish piece of information. And that is that Palantir have achieved a very, very significant milestone over in Germany, as they have actually been approved by the Bavarian federal state to deploy their platform within the police. Now, Bavaria have actually been piloting Palantir's software in their police department for a while now, but yesterday was the significant moment. Yesterday was when they got official approval to use it. And this has actually been quite a long time coming. It's been really difficult over there because there was a lot of people, or important people I should say, actually pushing back against this. Just like we saw, I suppose, within the UK when the whole NHS deal was happening, there was people that were really against it. Let's just take a look at this German article that reports on this piece of information. Now, of course, we will use Google Translate to actually understand this, so some of the translation may be slightly off, but you'll get the idea. The bourgeois majority in the Bavarian state parliament has approved the necessary changes to the law. There is now a legal basis in the state for the use of Palantir software Vera. The Parliament of the State of Bavaria has approved the changes to the Police Tasks Act. The majority of CSU, Free Voters and AfD outvoted the SPD and the Greens, who were against the change in the law. With its approval, the state parliament has created the legal basis for the using of Vera analysis software from the controversial this is the same wording that was used obviously when the whole NHS thing was happening, controversial US company Palantir. This is intended to help the state police evacuate existing data and prevent crime in advance. A lot of Palantir's work is very predictive, with Skywise, like we were just speaking about, predictive maintenance. It happens within the crime sector as well. It happens within many, many sectors. They are trying to get ahead of the game. They are trying to predict different outcomes so that enterprise or government organizations can actually do what they need to do necessary before that eventuality actually happens. Very, very powerful stuff. The technical term for the latter is pre-cops. According to Hesse, I don't know what that says, but I guess it's a German news reporter, something like that, I don't know. According to them anyway, Vera also helps those who commit serious crime to access data from various police systems more quickly and identify connections. So it would be very, very useful stuff. The Bavarian state government has set itself the goal of being able to use Vera in the current legislative period. Accordingly, Interior Minister Joachim Herrmann campaigned for the approval of the law and promised, among other things, that it was in accordance with constitutional requirements. The Palantir platform would not create nor collect new data, but would instead evaluate existing data. According to this company again, this is at least personal data from 38.7 million people, 60% of whom are witnesses, victims, or informants. In addition, Herrmann continued, "We must be able to recognize dangers ourselves. Bavaria should not be dependent on foreign intelligence services," said Herrmann in the Bavarian state parliament. The purchase of the software from the American manufacturer Palantir will cost Bavaria €5.4 million. The annual cost of operating the system is estimated at €500,000. Now, actually, that sounds like a lot of money, but for Palantir, that is not a lot of money. But, I think this is a really, really important deal to be getting, to actually integrate themselves into Europe, into Germany. That will actually allow them, hopefully, to proliferate that relationship into the rest of Europe. But obviously, there's going to be some pushback. Countries are going to want to come up with their own methods of doing this stuff rather than actually having to employ a US organization to do it for them. It's understandable, but then you have to ask yourselves, okay, well, is it more important to get technology, to get software that actually works rather than trying to do it yourself, spending a lot of money, a lot of time, not being able to actually come up with solutions that are as good, and then putting your citizens at risk. And obviously crime is very serious. Although the legal basis for the use of the platform was only created with today's vote, the police in Bavaria have already been testing it since March 2023. So that's what I was saying. This has been happening for a while, but there's been lots of pushback. However, yesterday marked the important day that it's actually been approved due to this change in law. Since then, the State Criminal Police Office has also been using real data, for example, from the Bavarian's police wanted list, as the, not even going to try to say that, reported in November 2023. The losing parties, the SPD and the Greens, argued that the use of the Palantir platform was problematic in terms of data protection. This is always the argument, that they're going to steal data, that they're going to see data they shouldn't. Palantir has spoken about this time and time again. But, obviously there will always be these concerns, even though it has been, like I said, spoken about many times over. Using it for other purposes. Again, they're not interested in selling data or anything like that. This is a company that are you know, in my opinion, they want to do the right thing. They're not one of these big tech companies that are just after money and they're willing to sell data. There are companies like that exist that you're probably using already. The Bavarian Data Protection Officer, Thomas Petri, is also an opponent. In May 2021, he called the use of the highly problematic. If a program were to automatically search all databases, these areas would no longer be sufficiently separated. Today, Petri is calling for certain data evaluations to be banned entirely and the storage periods to be shortened. Like I kind of already said, this approval in Bavaria is actually really, really important because it kind of sets the precedent for other German states potentially then actually doing the same thing, and then this leads on to broader implementation. And Palantir has been trying to grow their international government business for quite a while now, and I think this is going to really help. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments below, and as always, I really appreciate you taking time out of your day to watch my videos. I'll see you in tomorrow's.